And ease at the back of the field is Pensada. They've got a furlong and a half to go, and it is Champagne at peak.
To week 4 of the NFL season. You're watching More Ways to Win. I'm your host, Lisa Kerney, getting you ready for all the NFL action this week. And as always, I'm joined by our team of sports betting experts, including Dave Weaver, live from Pimlico Racecourse for the Preakness Stakes horse race this weekend. I see you, Dave. We're going to talk horses coming up later in the show. And of course, these guys are all here to help you make some money. So now is the time to download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to place your bets with their advice. Plug in the promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy, it's legal, it's so much fun. So let's get this party started. I'm ready, they're ready, and you're ready. We're kicking things off with your New York Giants on the road this week, headed to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. And Giants fans, hey, I feel for you. I really do. The G-men have struggled all year long. You know that. Coming off a 36-9 home loss against the Niners. They're in week 3, of course. The line this week reflects that performance. New York getting 12.5 points in this matchup on the road. Andrew Filipponi, which side do you like here?
Yeah, most NFL games are one-score games. That's why I'm going to take the Giants despite the lousy performance against the San Francisco backups last weekend. Dave, we saw Josh Allen score not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 touchdowns against this LA defense last week. They got up big in that game. I think the Giants hang around and cover.
I don't see that happening because Sean McVay is one of the best at not showing mercy on his opponents when he's supposed to crush them. He's 6-1 against the spread as a favorite of 10.5 points or more. And in 5 of those games, his team has scored 30 points or more. So I see the Rams going out there putting up a 10 of points, and I just don't see the Giants hanging. I think Darrell Henderson is going to have a monster game out of the backfield. So I think the Rams are going to win something like 42-10. Sorry, Pony.
No, right out of the gate, I love the fire, guys. Time now for the right take, and for this, we're headed out to Chicago, bringing in our NFL expert, Cole Wright. Cole, of course, the new face of Marquee Sports Network, formerly with NFL Network. Cole, the guys are split here on this decision. Giants on the road. Again, the spread is 12.5 at the Rams. Which team do you have winning, and by how many points?
I'm with Dave, but I don't know if they're going to go over 40. You know, I'm also just tired, Lisa, of asking the Giants and Daniel Jones to stop turning the ball over. Last week, another pick. That's almost 30 giveaways since the start of last season. And then Joe Judge goes out there and says that this is a blue-collar team. Huh? I mean, they got absolutely smashed by a depleted San Francisco squad with 4 major players out. And then there's the Rams. Showing heart in that comeback loss is what we're going to call it to Buffalo. Now, if Jared Goff and Cooper Kupp can keep up their connection, they have 112 pitches and catches between the pair. And if Darrell Henderson Jr. can capitalize on that game that he had 114 yards, 20 carries, those were career highs for him in both categories. You know, I think this could be easy money, just like Dave said, but I don't think it's going to be as rich as he said it is. 35-14. I see the Rams coming out on top here.
Okay. Great job, Cole. Thank you. And Giants fans, if you roll with our guys, take the Giants and the points. Or if you go the other side, G-Men, we're counting on you guys to back your guys. And a winning $50 bet on New York gets you almost $98 on that wager. All right, now to a huge AFC matchup here in Kansas City. The Patriots visit the defending Super Bowl champions, the Chiefs, coming off that impressive win, right, in Baltimore Monday night. They improved to 3-0. New England sitting there at 2-1. They're getting 7 points at Arrowhead this week. Dave Weaver, New England leads the league in rushing. Can they keep the Kansas City offense off the field and cover that number this week?
New England leads the league in rushing, and Kansas City rush defense is not really that good. 153 yards a game so far through 3 weeks. Here's the thing for me. Bill Belichick getting a touchdown. Pony, the last 7 times that he's been an underdog by even 6 or more, we're talking about 6-1 against the spread. You can take this back 20 years in his coaching career. 24-7 against the spread as a 6-point underdog. The last time that he was an underdog of this magnitude was week 1 of Deflategate. They were a 9-point dog. The books didn't know what to do. They made him a 9-point dog. They won the game outright. Give me Bill Belichick and a touchdown any day.
Hey, this is like American Pharaoh against Seabiscuit. You like that with you at Pimlico? These are the two best coaches in the NFL, but Belichick has dominated the rivalry. He's 6-2 all time against Andy Reid. He's got an extra day to prepare for this matchup. I understand the Chiefs are incredible. I picked him last week outright, but to me, you get Bill Belichick with a chip on his shoulder. Everybody says Kansas City's the best team in the NFL, plus a touchdown spread. I absolutely love the Patriots to cover and possibly win this game outright on Sunday.
All right, guys, do your thing, Patriots fans. If you take the points and bet on your team against my hometown Kansas City Chiefs, Pony, by the way, Patriots fans are going to collect $90 on a winning $50 bet. And, of course, we have plenty more game previews coming up here on More Ways to Win. In about 10 minutes, we're going to go to prime time, getting our guys' picks for the Sunday night and Monday night games. Those are coming up here in just a few minutes, so hang tight for that. But first, the guy that sets all the lines here at the FanDuel Sportsbook, joining us right now, we got to get to our odds maker, John Sheeran. Of course, John has a lot of exclusive information into the betting market and trends that he's seeing. Sheeran, we're 3 weeks into the season. You know a lot more about each of these teams in these matchups now. So which games gave you the most trouble when setting the lines this week?
I think there was a couple of really interesting ones this week, Lisa. Jacksonville and Cincinnati was one that initially caught our eyes very strongly. Jacksonville were projected to be about a field goal underdog in Cincinnati. And we felt like the way that the Bengals' rush defense has been and how bad it's been would actually take a lot of the pressure off Gardner Minshew and maybe potentially open him up to supporting that as a secondary option to win that game. But when we look a little deeper, the bigger facts that actually stood out to us was actually the job that Joe Burrow has done, despite facing three of the toughest defenses in the league already. We saw what he did 2 weeks ago on Thursday Night Football. Very impressive numbers he put up that night. And I think that was the deeper concern that led to us in the end actually thinking that this is a game that the spread looks about right at about a field goal. The Jags' pass rush and getting pressure on the quarterback's been almost historically bad as well, Lisa. So we think with Joe Burrow getting that amount of time, we saw what he was able to do at LSU, and any improvement on what he's done through the first 3 weeks will probably leave Jacksonville in a lot of trouble. The other one is Seattle. Seattle have been super impressive. We've been on their side through the first 3 weeks and potentially even like them to reach the Super Bowl. But we think this spot in Miami might be a tricky one. We made the line 6, expected it to open at 7 or 7.5 even. But there is some travel spot. This is a travel spot that for us is a bit dodgy. Bit of a letdown spot after a high-scoring back-and-forth game against Dallas last week. And then there's also some weather forecast in that area for this weekend. So we've seen a ton of action so far in Seattle. But we're pretty happy at having that at just under a touchdown, 6.5 as we talk right now.
Yeah, and Seattle literally could not make a farther trip in the continental U.S. Thanks, Sharon. We'll see you again in just a little bit. I appreciate your perspective as always. And hey, shout out to all of our sports fans joining us today. Hey, if you're in the New Jersey area, come see us at the FanDuel Sportsbook at the Meadowlands. We would love to have you. You can't be in the stadiums right now. We all know that. But you can still be in and a part of the action here with us. Watch all the games on dozens of TVs, complete with table service, food and drink, and of course, you can make your live sports bets on all your favorite teams and players and really have a full Sunday game day experience. The FanDuel Sportsbook follows all state safety guidelines, of course, to ensure your safety while you're enjoying the games. It's the spot to be. It's pregame, during the game, and of course, postgame as well. Be sure to check out the website for hours of operation so you can hang with us at the FanDuel Sportsbook at the Meadowlands. It is our pleasure to welcome you and serve you. So thank you for joining us. Let's put some math to our money now and get the analytics answer from our numbers guy, Ed Egros, joining us from Dallas. Hey, Ed, you combed the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You found a couple lines that you really like here in week 4. Let's make our viewers some money here. Where did the numbers take us this week, Ed?
Lisa, I am absolutely ecstatic. The total between Washington and the Ravens is 45.5. After Monday night, Baltimore is definitely in a buy low situation for me. Lamar Jackson is still an elite passer. His completion percentage over expected is 11.3, second highest in football, only behind Russell Wilson. His bad throw percentage is only 8%. That's the best mark among all qualifying quarterbacks. He is also still an effective rusher. No one has more rush attempts off run-pass options than Jackson. Those 12 carries have been good for 41 yards. He had nearly 3 times as many RPO runs as anyone in football last year. I expect that number to skyrocket. 2 possible outcomes here. One of them is that the Ravens hit the 45.5 by themselves with short fields. I'm taking the over here.
I'm going to fade you, Ed. There's a reason why we've seen this total come way down since the sportsbook, since FanDuel posted it a while back. And that's because I don't trust the Ravens' offensive line now against this Washington defensive front, which might be on the line the best in the NFL with 4 first-round picks. I'm very intrigued by that matchup. I think Baltimore's not going to have their typical success running the ball, and that's why I'm going to fade you and take the under.
Also, Washington could have short field. So a number of ways this could happen. But another bet that I think has some good value is Dallas giving 4.5 to the Browns. And after so much criticism for Baker Mayfield, including a brutal Week 1 loss to the aforementioned Ravens, I think the Browns quarterback may have turned his career around just a little bit. Mayfield is currently 4th among all quarterbacks this season in EPA CPOE composite at .214. Last year, his bad throw percentage was 18.1%. Now it's 12.7%. Still some work to do, but it is improvement. Dak Prescott, though, is going in the other direction. Last year, his on-target throw percentage was 77.6%. This year, it's 47.1%, 30 points worse, and a drop from 7th best in football down to 28th. Dak's intended air yards have both been some of the bigger totals in football, so he's still airing it out. That doesn't explain the downtick. It seems to be something else. Whatever that something else is, it seems like Dak is going down a little bit, Mayfield is going up, but they're not quite meeting up next to each other just yet. I'm still going to take the Cowboys to cover.
I can't do it, Ed. I mean, the Cowboys should be 0-3 if it wasn't for the Falcons not jumping on a 1-mile-an-hour onside kick. The Cowboys are winless. I think the Browns are off to a great start, so I'm going to fade you on this one. I'll take the points.
It's, you can tail Dave right there. How good would it feel to root against the Cowboys and win money at the same time? I know, right? Winning and winning. Take the Browns and the points. You're going to collect more than $95 on a winning $50 bet. And remember, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now to check out all the Week 4 lines available right now. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. New Jersey, you're a part of the family. We take care of our friends. So this is a we've got your back kind of segment here, and a special fist bump for those of you that are new to sports betting. We love having you with us. So I'm going to bring in my guy Dave here from Pimlico. We've talked about spreads, Dave, money line bets, total wagers as well. Now let's break those down, inform our bettors, and give them your best bet for each here in Week 4. What you got?
Yeah, we'll keep it pretty simple and just tell you what a spread is. That is the amount of points you need to win or lose by in a game. We'll start with the Saints. I think they're going to cover the 4.5 points against the Detroit Lions. Week number 4, Sean Payton historically gets his team rolling. First 3 weeks, always a little bit slow. So give me the Saints and lay the points, and they will cover the spread of 4 points right now in this game. Now let's talk about what a money line bet is, and that is no spread involved. All you're looking to do is win the game outright. I'm going to use the Buccaneers this week as my example for the play of the day on a money line bet. You risk $330 to win 100, but they don't have to cover the 7. They just have to win the game outright. And let's talk about a total. The total for the Colts and Bears game is 44.5, so 43.5. So combined, these two teams need to put up 44 points or more. I think the Colts and the Bears are going to get into the 50s. So give me the over on the total for the Colts and the Bears.
Awesome, Dave. Place those bets. It's that easy. There you go, New Jersey. Plenty of spread, money line, and total bets available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. They're available right now. Also, a ton of fun parlays, props, and alternative lines as well for those of you who have been at this a while. We appreciate all of you being with us. You can check it all out now at our FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's easy to use, and it is a ton of fun. Dave, great job. Thanks for those bets there. Time now to turn our attention to fantasy and talk about how you can turn just about $4 into $1 million. Yes, you heard me right. $1 million. All you have to do is enter the FanDuel Sunday Million contest on FanDuel.com, of course, on the app as well right now. Now, our job, of course, is to help you win it, right? So we're hooking you up with the best value plays for your lineup. FanDuel Editor-in-Chief JJ Zacharyson in-house with us with his best value plays here for Week 4. Hi, JJ.
One of my favorite values this week is wide receiver Will Fuller, who's going up against the Minnesota Vikings secondary. Now, if you look at this Texans offense, they haven't performed all that well over the last couple of weeks, but they've also faced Pittsburgh and they faced Baltimore. Will Fuller has about an 18% target share across the season, and that includes a 0-target game against Baltimore. Now he faces a Minnesota secondary that's been second worst in terms of adjusted fantasy points against. I like Will Fuller, especially at this price tag of $6,100. And then you move on to another player in that Texans offense, and it's David Johnson, who's $6,700. He's seen 85% of the running back rushes in that Houston offense to start the year. He's had a 12% target share as well. The only other running back across the entire NFL with those types of market share numbers has been Ezekiel Elliott. Now he gets a pretty good matchup in a game with a pretty high over-under. I like David Johnson to give you a floor, and I think if he can find the end zone maybe once, maybe even twice, he has a ceiling too. And then finally, there's DK Metcalf. The Seahawks offense is rolling right now. Metcalf has a 22% target share. He's fourth in 15-plus air yard targets this year. He's getting the ball down the field. He's scoring touchdowns. He should be priced higher than $6,900, so I think that he should be in your lineup as well.
Awesome, JJ. Thank you. Great stuff as always. And make sure you all at home to use JJ's information for a shot at winning $1 million in the Sunday Million contest. Right now on FanDuel.com, of course, FanDuel app as well. It's $4 and you get a chance to win a prize pool of almost $3 million. Winner taking home $1 million. FanDuel.com and the FanDuel app. And there's even more money to be had, y'all. The Sunday Million is just one of many daily fantasy games offered at FanDuel.com and on the FanDuel app. There are also a bunch of free DFS contests that you can enter right now. Yes, free, I said it, and a ton of fun as well. You can also win super legit prizes, so why not give it a try? You can do it right now. Log on to FanDuel.com or download the FanDuel app and sign up for your chance to win cash and prizes for free with our daily contests available each and every week. All right, y'all, let's get back to sports betting now. And one of the coolest and most exclusive features on the FanDuel Sportsbook app is building a parlay bet of wagers offered for one single game. It's called Same Game Parlay. You can dramatically increase your payout on your bet. And the FanDuel Sportsbook is the only sportsbook offering this great feature for these NFL games. So let's get right into it, guys. This means bettors can combine multiple bets from one game. That includes everything from a spread bet, total game, and player prop bet. However you want to put it together, it's fair game. And to get you started, FanDuel is giving all customers one risk-free same-game parlay bet up to $10 each week of this season. So, hey, guys, let's get creative. I want each of you to give me a same-game parlay bet that you like here in Week 4. And Dave, out of Pimlico, get us started.
My favorite thing on Twitter is seeing people posting their winning same-game parlays and seeing how they structure theirs. I'm going to stick with the Cincinnati-Jacksonville game. I've noticed the Bengals kind of start things slow. So the key to my bet is to have a draw through the first quarter. I need it to be 3-3, 7-7, 0-0. That's the tricky part. From there, low-scoring game for the Bengals in the first half, under 13.5. And then in the second half, the Bengals end up winning this game and covering the 3. So those three things are going to get me about 22-1 on my money.
Yeah, mine's a little less complicated, Dave. I'm going to go with Houston. Now the schedule eases up for them after that unprecedented start against those 3 AFC Super Bowl contenders. I like them to cover the first half total, to go over, and to cover the game spread -4.5 to take down a very beleaguered, struggling Vikings team.
I really thought that Jaguars-Bengals was going to be my little find, but no, Sheeran and Dave have already brought it up, so this is what I'm going to do. Second half total points for the Jaguars over 10.5, away total points over 23.5, and a money line money-making bet for the Jags for a +248 payout.
Yes, you're using my lingo, Moneyline Moneymaker. I see you, Ed. Awesome stuff, guys. You can tail one of our guys or, hey, build your own same-game parlay in the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. You can take advantage of a risk-free $10 bet. It's waiting for you there on the app. Just click on the game that you like, then hit the same-game parlay tab. Watch your odds increase here. Again, the FanDuel Sportsbook is the only sportsbook offering this great feature for these NFL games, so you guys can get right to it right now. And right now, we are moving on in the show to talk primetime here in Week 4, and we're starting with a Sunday night matchup. We've got Philly at San Francisco. The Eagles are still looking for that first win after a tie at home against the Bengals last week. Doug Peterson, though, backing Carson Wentz, guys, saying he is our quarterback. but he needs to get it fixed. 6 interceptions in 3 games. It is the most in the league. Meanwhile, the 49ers have won 2 in a row, but those games were against the Jets and the Giants. San Francisco giving 7 points on Sunday night. Pony, I'm coming right back to you here. Give me your pick for this matchup.
It's way, way, way too many points. I think that the Eagles are due for a bounce-back performance. You gave the interception total for Wentz, Lisa, 6 in 3 games. He hasn't thrown more than 7 in a season since his rookie year. Without those corners healthy for San Francisco, Dave, I think it's a time for Wentz to show he is still a franchise quarterback, and they'll at least cover the touchdown spread.
I'm with you, and I think the pressure on a guy of his caliber is actually a good thing for him to prove that he still has it. And, you know, so many injuries still on both the offensive defensive fronts for the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, they've been able to overcome those 2 injuries, beating the pitiful Jets and Giants, but the Eagles, I think, are going to step up and cover this game.
All right, great stuff, guys. Let's move on now to Monday night, Atlanta at Green Bay, guys. The Falcons coming off another unbelievable late game collapse and a loss to Chicago. Gave up 20 unanswered in the 4th quarter to fall to 0-3 here. Not the expectation Dave had for sure. Meanwhile, I got to talk Green Bay proving doubters wrong. They've improved to 3-0 with their win in New Orleans. Dave, you've been on the Falcons all preseason, all season. They're getting 7 from the Packers. Does Green Bay cover that number, Dave?
I don't think they do, and it's not because I'm in love with the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, I am. But to get 7 points with a team that still has this great offense, I know their defense has been struggling, but a touchdown for Atlanta, I'm going to take them against anybody in the NFL. And as an underdog, realize that the Falcons have covered 5 in a row. They're 8-9 at Lambeau all time. And last year, Pony, as a double-digit dog, they beat the Saints on the road. They beat the Niners on the road. They know how to get into these situations and surprise teams. I know you've probably given up on them. I have not.
This is like America's great love story here, Dave, and the Atlanta Falcons. No matter what they do to you, Dave, they break your heart. You can't quit this team. But in this case, I actually agree with you. Let's not forget they were up 16 with 5 minutes to go against the Bears. The question in here is not if the Falcons can win the game. It's if they can keep it close. And they've done that in all 3 games this year, and they'll continue to do that against Green Bay and cover the spread.
Yes, and Dave will be seeing a therapist after this season if they just can't get it together. We'll see if they can get it together in Green Bay this week. Great stuff by our guys, as always. John Sheeran, coming back to you now here for your exclusive insight on the hottest bets at the sportsbook right now. We have some uncertainty this week, probably playing into what you're going to answer here, but which teams are taking the most action for week 4, John?
The guys just touched on it, actually. Very interesting one is Atlanta and Green Bay on Monday Night Football. Our look ahead line, Lisa, had this game at only 4.5. Even considering the really hot start by Green Bay and that excellent win on Monday Night Football against the Saints, we can't get this above 6. So for this to be at 7 right now, this feels like a really good spot for us to kind of favor Atlanta. All of the public money is coming in on the Green Bay Packers. So far, about 70% of the money has been for them. And we feel like the guys do, that Atlanta are a little bit unlucky to have an 0-3 record. They probably should be 2-1, with the only loss coming against Seattle. Given the level of support that we're seeing for Green Bay, it doesn't look like the spread will come down from where it is, but we'll be aggressive with them. And then locally, the other game, Lisa, is the Giants at the Rams. This line's been pummeled. We had this at 6.5 a couple of weeks ago. You could have bet the Rams minus less than a touchdown, all the way up now to 12.5 or so. 95% of the money coming for them. We made it 12 on our adjusted ratings after last week, but I'm not seeing a bet for the Giants at this stage. Looking back at last week, some of the game grades of the Giants defense working out, ranking one of the worst in the league. So it looks a really tough spot for New York to go to Los Angeles and even cover that high number, Lisa.
Yeah, giant explosion in that line. Sharon, thank you, and we'll see you again in a little bit. Let's check it back in right now with our NFL analyst, Cole Wright. Cole, give some underdogs a little love here. Of course, betting on an underdog to win outright is a great way to get a big payout here, so everybody at home can keep that in mind. I like to call this my moneyline moneymaker, Cole. Give me a couple teams that are on upset alert here in week 4. What you think?
Alert, because I see the Cleveland Browns going out there and getting that W. I know that the Cowboys have the #1 offense overall, but some of those numbers a little bit misleading. They have a pair of losses, and we know that there's a little turmoil going on there in Dallas right now. I heard that Jerry Jones is comparing Dak Prescott to Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes. So I think Nick Chubb and that run game, as well as Kareem Hunt, they're going to be too much for that defense. And Browns, they go and win this one 21-14 in Dallas. And then on the other side of the coin, I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars over the Cincinnati Bengals. They're still a little salty right now after that behind kicking they took on Thursday night, courtesy of the Miami Dolphins. And I'm all about what Joe Burrow's been able to do so far in a small sample size. But, this Jacksonville defense, they're a top 5 unit in big plays. So I see this as a Jacksonville win, 21-17, Lisa.
All right, Cole, thank you. Time to turn it up now. You're going to need your FanDuel Sportsbook account to get in the action. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Now is the time. FanDuel is giving new users some extra love here with a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Yes, just download the app. Sign up for an account using the promo code MOREWAYS1000. It's been on your screen this entire show. It's MOREWAYS1000. If your first bet does not hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 in site credit. And guys, got to get you all back in here and hand out some fist bumps. A couple of big $1,000 risk-free bets that you guys gave out during this segment. They hit last week and earned a lot of people a lot of money. Pony, you had the Panthers winning outright at the Chargers. $1,000 collected more than $3,400 on that bet. Your second straight week nailing this risk-free bet. I'm excited to see what you got this week. Ed, you had the Panthers. Alternate line there at +3.5, 1,000 collected $2,200. So Dave, you out there at Pimlico, it's time to redeem yourself here. You have up to $1,000 to place on a risk-free bet. Didn't hit last week, but I've got faith in you this week. What you hammering here in week 4?
I was 21 seconds away last week. I had the Bengals -6.5. They were up 7, and then the Eagles tied it and put it in the overtime. So I was close. What I'm going to do is going to buy the total up. I like the Bears and the Colts to be a high-flying game, so I'm going to take them from 43.5 to 52.5 and get that value of +230. Let's go over in that game big time.
I'm going to go back to the money line well with an underdog, Lisa, for my risk-free wager. Miami to upset Seattle. The Seahawks pass defense is the worst in the NFL by a whopping 80 yards per game.
Two biggest surprises for me in terms of solid offenses are facing off, the Bills and the Raiders. I want to buy that alternate total up to over 59.5. $1,000 risk-free bet scores me $3,000.
Awesome. Great stuff, guys. Make sure to sign up FanDuel Sportsbook account right now. Use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. You're going to get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. And before we go, let's take a second to talk about one of the biggest horse races of the year, the Preakness Stakes, running on Saturday at Pimlico Racecourse. Dave is live there this week. Dave, horses are your wheelhouse, man. Give us your pick. Let our viewers know about the risk-free bet available right now.
Yeah, this is why I'm here. And there's actually a deposit match bonus at TVT.com right now of 50% up to $250. Use the promo code BESTBET when you sign up for a TVG account. And I would bet that money on number 3 horse Art Collector. He skipped the Kentucky Derby due to a hoof injury, but I think he's going to pull off a slight upset in this year's Preakness Stakes.
Awesome, Dave. I'm actually writing it down myself. If you want to tail Dave, you can do it now. Download the TVG app, sign up for an account using that promo code Dave mentioned as well. Best bet. Get a 50% deposit matchup on your first deposit. Hey, enjoy the horses. Enjoy all the football games this weekend, and we'll see you right back here next week.
Time for new reading glasses? Go to Readers.com. Choose from hundreds of styles and colors for under $20. And now, enter this exclusive TV coupon code at checkout to save up to 40%. That's Readers.com.
Hey, neighbor, we got to talk.
Well, Jay? No, he only comes to Bugle on race days.
Race days?
With the TVG app, every day is race day. You can place bets right in your phone. Even stream live races.
Top-notch runners facing off.
I can have a day at the track whenever I want, right at home.
Coming through, guys.
Go get him, Mike.
Mike Smith?
Yeah, Mike Smith.
There's a new home of horse racing. Yours. Get a 50% bonus on your first deposit up to $250.
Poker Stars, the world's #1 poker site, is live in New Jersey. Jump in against thousands of others with daily real money cash games. and buy-ins at all levels. Plus, we're chipping in $30 in free play on your first deposit and matching your next deposit up to $600. New Jersey, you're where the action is. Download the PokerStars app or go online now at PokerStars.com.
TVG Friday. Keeneland's opening day stakes action includes the Grade 2 Stoll Keenan Ogden Phoenix, a win in your challenge race for the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Brought to you by Lanes End Farm. Keeneland Friday, 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific.
And Eagles fans, welcome to week 4 of the NFL season. Thanks for hanging with us. We're excited to have you with us here each and every week. You're watching More Ways to Win. I'm your host, Lisa Kerney, and as always, I'm joined by our team of sports betting experts, including Mr. Dave Weaver himself, live from Pimlico Racecourse for the Preakness Stakes horse race this weekend. We'll talk horses in just a little bit. And of course, as always, these guys are here to help you make money. So now is the time to download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to place your bets with their advice. Plug in the promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy, it's legal, it's fun. We're digging in. Let's get this party started. And we're kicking things off with your undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers. Coming off a home win against Houston, they're traveling to Tennessee to take on the 3-0 Titans. And I'm going to say this eventually, guys. The headline for this one, the NFL has delayed this game until later in the week after several Titans players and team personnel tested positive for COVID-19. We saw this coming at some point. Here it is in week 4. Full transparency here as well. Because of all the questions still swirling around this game, the line for Pittsburgh, Tennessee was unavailable on the FanDuel Sportsbook at the time that we taped this show, but we wanted to still break down the game for you because there's a lot of value to be had in these conversations, guys. So Andrew Filipponi, I'm coming to you first. You're the radio voice there in Pittsburgh. We're going to focus on the money line for this one. Which team wins this game straight up? Where are you putting your bet?
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers because of the Titans' turbulence. I think it turns a toss-up into a touchdown or more win for the Steelers. This is not a defense, Pittsburgh, with the most pressures in the NFL, that you want a short week of preparation for or a truncated week to get ready for. And Ben Roethlisberger's efficiency through the roof. You're teaching an old dog new tricks with him in this revamped Steelers offense, Dave. 7 touchdowns to only 1 picks. He's not the riverboat gambler that he was 2 years ago when he led the league in passing yards. And I think that translates into a 4-0 start for the Steelers.
Well, to me, just look at what Tennessee has done so far in their 3 games. You know, they've beaten teams that are combined 1-8 by a total of 6 points. So they're 0-3 against the spread. And I know you hate Tannehill, so I knew you were going to play against him anyway. So I'm very proud of you for that.
Well done. I love the venom right out of the gate. Great job, Dave. Let's get an X and O's football take on this matchup now. For now, we head to Chicago and our NFL analyst, Cole Wright here, the new face of Marquee Sports Network, formerly, of course, of the NFL Network. Cole, love having you here with us. You heard the guys' picks and the circumstances surrounding this game set to be played in Nashville. Which team do you have winning on this week, and by how many points do you see this one going down?
Lisa, I think Pony, Dave, and I are all in the same boat, paddling in the same direction because, you know, stranger things have happened. The Tennessee Titans, they're 3-0, but like Dave said, the teams they've beaten, not very good. Denver, Jacksonville, Minnesota, not the Steelers. And despite that pick last week, Ryan Tannehill and Tennessee, they're tops in the league in turnover differential, but the Steeler defense, they're going to be too much. And whenever this game is played, we know that Pittsburgh defense, they're going to be on the hunt for Ryan Tannehill. And if he doesn't throw touchdowns like we saw last week, then I think that he and those Tennessee Titans, they have zero shot of beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think Pittsburgh, they moved to 4-0, 28-17. You can count this one as a win.
Oh, making some fans in Pittsburgh. All right, Steelers fans, head to the FanDuel Sportsbook app. From now until game time, the line for this game will be posted as soon as possible. You can place your bet. Hey, tail our guys, tail Cole there, and root for your team to go 4-0. Let's get to prime time now. We're going to talk the Sunday night matchup. We've got Philly at San Francisco here in week 4. The Eagles still looking for their first win after a tie at home against the Bengals last week. But hey, Doug Peterson is backing Carson Wentz here, saying he is our quarterback. But yes, he needs to fix it. 6 interceptions in 3 games, guys. It is the most in the league. Meanwhile, you've got the 49ers. They've won 2 in a row. Again, those games were against the Jets and the Giants. San Fran giving 7 points on Sunday night. Pony, give me your pick.
I'm going to take the Eagles here. They are due to force a turnover. They have 0 in their first 3 games, which is remarkable. They don't have the best defense in the NFL, but I don't think on paper they have the worst. And to not take the ball away from an opposing offense is mind-boggling. It's Nick Mullins on the other side, Dave, for the 49ers. He is under Shanahan, they're 5-20 outright when Jimmy G doesn't start. I think this is a redemption game for Philly. They cover and possibly win outright.
And one thing you could take away from last week, they basically played for the tie late, punting with 10 seconds to go or so. Hey, when you're getting 7 points, we want a coach that is playing for a tie. I think that's the mentality that they're going to do what they need to do to just keep this game close. We get it to a tie game into the fourth quarter, and we should be in good shape. I like the points as well.
All right, so Eagles fans, if you bet the spread and the points, a winning $50 bet gets you more than $95 on this wager. And the guy that sets all these lines at the FanDuel Sportsbook joins us right now here in the program. The odds maker himself, Mr. John Sheeran, of course, has a lot of exclusive information into the betting market. Sheeran, we're 3 weeks into this season. You know a lot more about each of these teams here at this point. Which games this week gave you the most trouble when setting the lines?
I think there were a couple, Lisa, that we initially thought were good opportunities to be aggressive, but when we looked deeper into the matchups, kind of told us a different story. The first one was definitely Jacksonville and Cincinnati. The Jags getting 3 in that spot was one that we were very wary initially of, particularly in a world where we look at the Bengals' run defense. And it's been so bad last season, as we know, and that's continued through the first 3 games of this season. We actually think, though, that when we actually look at it at a deeper level, look at the Bengals specifically, the job Joe Burrow has done through the first 3 weeks, passing the ball against 3 pretty good defenses. We think that there's a decent chance that he actually gets more time this weekend against the Jaguar pass rush that's been terrible, historically bad, actually. If they give him more time, we might see more of deeper throws like we did in his college career in LSU, obviously last year winning the championship. So that's one that we're really wary about initially at 3, but now as we look deeper into it, probably feel like that's more reflective of the game. The other one was definitely Seattle and Miami. The travel is obviously a major concern. We made it 6, actually thought it might open us at 7 or 7.5 even, given all of the public demand the first 3 weeks for Seattle, and expect that to roll into this week as well. But when we actually look at it, going down there, the travel, as we said, some defensive injuries that they have, which are key. And then also there's a lot of bad weather forecast for this weekend down there. So settling on 6 is actually a chance we can win that one, whereas when we looked at it firstly, so we were a little bit wary of it for sure.
Sheeran, did you just say Jaguar? You're so
Jaguars?
fancy here. So fancy. Let's get to our analytics answer now from our numbers guy, Ed Egros, joining us from Dallas. Ed, you combed the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You found a couple lines that you really like. Let's make our viewers some money here. Where did the numbers take us here in week 4, Ed? If we want to get fancy, you want to go with the Jaguars. I get it.
I won't this time, but after these bets, you will be able to afford a Jaguar. I'm absolutely ecstatic that Washington and Baltimore has a total of 45.5. Baltimore is in a buy low situation for me. Lamar Jackson is still an elite passer. His completion percentage over expected is 11.3, second highest in football behind Russell Wilson. His bad throw percentage is only 8%. That's the best mark among all qualifying quarterbacks. And he is also an effective rusher. Still, no one has more rush attempts off RPOs than Jackson. Those 12 carries have been good for 41 yards. Hit nearly 3 times as many RPO ones as anybody in football last year. I expect that number to skyrocket. 2 possible outcomes here, perhaps a little bit of a back and forth where the points go up, or Baltimore just hits the 45.5 by themselves. Either way, I'm taking the over.
I think it's going to go under. Last year, we saw Baltimore was stunned after losing to Kansas City. They came home against Cleveland as a favorite and got blown out. I don't think that'll happen, but I'm not convinced the Ravens are going to be able to run all over that very expensive, very highly touted Washington defensive line. And I don't trust Washington's offense, so that's why I think this game is going to go way under.
I disagree with you, but you said expensive, and That's the name of the game here. Hey, another bet that has good value here, Dallas giving 4.5 to the Browns. After so much criticism for Baker Mayfield, including that brutal week 1 to the aforementioned Ravens, I think the Browns quarterback has turned his career around. Mayfield is currently 4th among all quarterbacks this season, an EPA CPA week composite of .214. Last year, his bad throw percentage was 18.1%. Now it's 12.7%. Certainly some more work to do, but it is an improvement. Dak Prescott, though, he is going in the other direction. Last year, his on-target throw percentage was 77.6%. This year, it's 47.1%, roughly 30 points worse, and a drop from 7th best in football down to 28. Dak's intended air yards have both been some of the bigger totals in football last year and this year. It is not because he's being more aggressive, just perhaps some miscommunication with his receivers. Mayfield seems to be going up. Dak Prescott seems to be going down, but they're not intersecting just yet. I'm going to give the Cowboys one more shot, and they're going to cover here.
If I wouldn't have known who you were picking in that game, I would have thought you were making a big case for the Browns, which you should be. I'm going to fade you on this one because the Cowboys, if it wasn't for that onside kick that the Falcons just decided not to jump on when it was going 1 mile an hour, the Cowboys would be 0-3. So you got an 0-3 team in my mind that's favored. I'll take the Browns. I think they're the better team in this matchup. I'm fading you.
I feel like it's retro Dave from 2 years ago, still on the Browns. All right, Eagles fans, how good would it feel to root against the Cowboys and win some money at the same time? I know, right? Just winning all over the place here. Take the Browns, tail Dave, and the points here. You're going to collect more than $95 on a winning $50 bet. And remember, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Check out all the Week 4 lines available right now. In Pennsylvania, you're part of the family here. We take care of our friends, so this is We've got your back segment. A special fist bump for those of you that are new to sports betting as well. We are excited to have you with us on this journey. It's tons of fun. So let's get right to it. Dave, we've talked about spreads, right? Money line bets and total wagers in the show. Now let's break those down, inform our bettors, and give them your best bet for each of those here in Week 4.
Yeah, we all hear the terms, spread, money line, total. What are they? Well, the spread is the amount of points that a team needs to win by to cover that. In this case, I'm going to start with the Saints. They are a 4-point favorite, so the spread is 4. If they win by 5 or more, you're going to cash your ticket. If you happen to like the Lions, you need to lose by 4 or less to be okay. But I think that the Saints blow them out in this game, so my spread bet this week is going to be on the Saints. As far as the money line, the team that needs to win and not cover. That's what a money line is. It's just who's going to win the game. Doesn't matter if you win by 1 or if you win by 100 points. I like the Buccaneers. I think they're going to get the job done. But even if they win by a point, it's okay. But you have to bet a little bit more when you're betting the favorite on the money line. Minus 330 means you're betting $330 to win 100 on the Bucs. And let's talk about the total. That is the over-under of the combined amount of points between both teams in any game. Let's go to Chicago and Indy. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Allen Robinson going to get a couple of touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, a couple of touchdowns back and forth. And it's only 43.5 points. So as long as the two teams combine 44 or higher, I'm going to win the over.
Dave, what I'm doing right here is writing all of these down. Thank you very much. And there you go, Pennsylvania. Plenty of spread, money line, and total bets available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. And also a ton of fun parlays. We got props, alternative lines for those of you who've been at this a little while. We appreciate you being with us as well. Check it all out on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. It's easy to use and tons of fun. So let's party. And Pennsylvania sports fans, if you're in the New Jersey area, this is an open invitation and a warm welcome to come see us at the FanDuel Sportsbook here at the Meadowlands. Now, you can't be in the stadiums right now. We know that, but you can still be a part of all of the action. Watch all the games on dozens of TVs, complete with table service. We have food and drink. And of course, you can make your live sports bets on all your favorite teams and players as well throughout your experience. The FanDuel Sportsbook follows all state safety guidelines to ensure your safety while you're enjoying the games and your experience. It is the spot to be. I've spent tons of Sundays there. So has Dave. You can be there pregame, during the game, of course, post-game as well for all the games. Be sure to check out the website for hours of operation right now so you can hang with us at the FanDuel Sportsbook at the Meadowlands. Time now to turn our attention to fantasy and talk about how you can turn about $4 into $1 million. Yes, $1 million. You heard me right. All you have to do is enter the FanDuel Sunday Million contest on FanDuel.com right now and on the app as well. Our job is to help you win this thing, right? So we're hooking you up with the best value plays for your roster right now. FanDuel Editor-in-Chief JJ Zachariason in-house with his best values here for Week 4.
One of my favorite values this week is wide receiver Will Fuller, who's going up against the Minnesota Vikings secondary. Now, if you look at this Texans offense, they haven't performed all that well over the last couple of weeks, but they've also faced Pittsburgh and they faced Baltimore. Will Fuller has about an 18% target share across the season, and that includes a 0-target game against Baltimore. Now he faces a Minnesota secondary that's been second worst in terms of adjusted fantasy points against. I like Will Fuller, especially at this price tag of $6,100. And then you move on to another player in that Texans offense, and it's David Johnson, who's $6,700. He's seen 85% of the running back rushes in that Houston offense to start the year. He's had a 12% target share as well. The only other running back across the entire NFL with those types of market share numbers has been Ezekiel Elliott. Now he gets a pretty good matchup in a game with a pretty high over-under. I like David Johnson to give you a floor, and I think if he can find the end zone maybe once, maybe even twice, he has a ceiling too. And then finally, there's DK Metcalf. The Seahawks offense is rolling right now. Metcalf has a 22% target share. He's fourth in 15-plus air yard targets this year. He's getting the ball down the field. He's scoring touchdowns. He should be priced higher than $6,900, so I think that he should be in your lineup as well.
Yeah, and he's going to redeem himself from that fumbled touchdown there in Week 3. Thank you, JJ. Make sure to use JJ's information for a shot at winning $1 million in the Sunday Million contest right now on FanDuel.com. Again, it's about $4 to enter, and there's a prize pool of almost $3 million. It's FanDuel.com and on the FanDuel app. And there's even more money to be had, y'all. The Sunday Million is just one of many daily fantasy games offered at FanDuel.com. And on the FanDuel app, there are also a bunch of free DFS contests that you can enter right now. Yes, I said free, and they're a ton of fun. You can also win super legit prizes as well, so why not give it a try? It's free. Just log on to FanDuel.com or download the FanDuel app. Sign up for your chance to win cash and prizes for free with our daily contests available each and every week. All right, back to sports betting now, and one of the coolest and most exclusive features on the FanDuel Sportsbook app is building a parlay bet of wagers offered for one single game. It's called Same Game Parlay, and you can dramatically increase your payout on your bet. And the FanDuel Sportsbook is the only sportsbook offering this great feature for these NFL games. So I say let's party, let's dig in here. And guys, this means bettors can combine multiple bets for one game. That includes everything from a spread bet, total, game, and player props as well. And to get you started, FanDuel is giving all customers one risk-free same-game parlay bet up to $10 each week of this season. So let's get creative here, guys. I want each of you to give me a same-game parlay bet that you like for this week. Dave, coming to you first.
I love the same game parlay because you're not worrying about all these other games. You're just focusing on one game, and to me, you're trying to figure out the flow of the game. What's going to be happening in this game? Is it going to be low scoring early? I think in the Cincinnati-Jacksonville game, that is going to be the case. So my bet's a little bit tricky. I'm doing three things. The first quarter is going to be tied. It's going to be a draw, 0-0, 3-3, pretty low scoring. I think the first half, the Bengals are going to start a little bit slow, so I'm going to take their under on their team total, which is 13.5. But I think the Bengals get it going in the second half and eventually cover the game. So tie in the first quarter, low-scoring first half for the Bengals, and the Bengals cover the 3, 22-1 odds, Pony.
Mine's less complicated, Dave. Houston, it's like a long-distance runner training at altitude the first 3 weeks against Kansas City, Baltimore, and Pittsburgh. Now they get back to sea level at home against Minnesota. I'd like them to go over in the first half, their own point total, just Houston's point total, and then to cover the 4.5. That's my same-game parlay. Take it to the bank.
I believe in the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you look at early down pass frequency for both teams, Cincinnati passes at 8th most often and Jacksonville 14th. Bengals also play the second fastest pace in football, and they have rest. So I'm expecting a high-scoring game here, especially expecting points for the Jags. So I'll take away total points second half over 10.5, total for Jacksonville over 23.5. Money line, money-making bet for the Jags. The whole thing gives me plus 263.
Or maybe Ed just wanted to say Jaguars. But either way, you can get some great value here. Great stuff, guys. You can tail one of our guys or build your own same-game parlay in the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now and take advantage of that risk-free $10 bet each week here. Just click on the game that you like, then hit the same game parlay tab and just watch your odds increase. That's how it works. Easy as that. Again, the FanDuel Sportsbook is the only sportsbook offering this great feature for these NFL games. So let's play. And back to our game previews now. We need to place some more bets. A huge AFC matchup in Kansas City this week, guys. The Patriots visit the defending Super Bowl champions, the Chiefs, coming off that impressive win in Baltimore on Monday night. They didn't only cover there, they won this thing outright. They were underdogs in that game, guys. They improved to 3-0. New England 2-1, getting 7 in this matchup. Dave, New England leads the league in rushing yards. Can they keep the Kansas City offense off the field and cover this number?
I think they can, and this is something that happens only once every couple of years. Actually, it's been 4 years since Bill Belichick has been an underdog by a touchdown. It's just unheard of. The last time this happened was week 1 of Deflategate when Jimmy G took over for Tom Brady, and they were a 9-point underdog, and they won the game outright. I think the same thing could happen here. I think they could win this game, Pony. You look at what Belichick has done as an underdog in the history of his career, 24-7 as a 6-point dog or more, and 6-1 the last 7 times. In this situation, I think they can catch the Chiefs off guard.
Yeah, best defense for New England in this game is I think, time control possession offense, and they can do that. 250 rushing yards last week. Sony Michel has rebounded from last year's injury-plagued season. He went over the century mark against Vegas. They're going to shrink this game, fewer offensive plays for Mahomes, and that'll help them cover the touchdown spread.
Awesome stuff, guys. Cole, got to get you back in here for this. You heard the guys' picks. Which team do you have winning and by how many points?
Well, it's always a tough thing to do to go against the New England Patriots, especially with a reinvigorated Cam Newton and Rex Burkhead running like, he's a college kid. We saw him with those pair of touchdowns last week. But with that being said, you know what, Lisa? I had to slap my own face if I picked any team except for the Chiefs in this one. Now, lucky for the Patriot defense, it's October because Patrick Mahomes, he's never thrown an interception in September ever. So I think Kansas City, they win this one easily, 31-21.
Love it. I love it. Guys, the Falcons moving on here to Monday night. They have a chance to redeem themselves at Green Bay. They're coming off another late game collapse in that loss to Chicago. Unbelievably, gave up 20 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to fall to 0-3. Meanwhile, Green Bay proving doubters wrong here, improving to 3-0 to win with their win over New Orleans. Dave, you've been on the Falcons all year long. They're getting 7 points from the Packers. Does Green Bay cover in this matchup?
I like them a lot, and it's not because I'm biased to the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, I've got a lot of confidence in what their offense can do, but just looking at the numbers, they've covered 5 straight games on the road. Even though they blew that game against Dallas, they still covered. They've covered 5 in a row on the road, and last year, I remember, twice, double-digit underdogs against the Saints and against the Niners. Not only did they cover, they won road games outright against those 2 elite teams. I think they can do the same against the Packers. I think they can actually win this game, Pony, and they're also 8-1 all-time at Lambeau. So going in there, they're not intimidated at all.
Well, let me set the record straight. You are biased towards Atlanta, okay? You said at 0-2, they'd still make it to the Super Bowl. But I'm with you on this one. Matt Ryan put up big numbers last week, even though they lost, with Julio Jones out and with Gage, the third receiver, in concussion protocol. So let's say he just gets one of those guys back healthy. I think that helps Atlanta cover the big touchdown spread.
Yeah, it's a big spread. Thanks, guys. All right, Ed, got to get you in here. The guys decided whether to tail or fade you earlier in the show, so now you get to return the favor here. Which side do you like in this primetime matchup on Monday night?
I will proudly fade both of these guys. The perspective is way off here, way off. The Green Bay Packers are one of the better teams in all of football, and they are dangerous because of their ability to run. Second highest success rate rushing on garbage time at 53.6%, and they have the 4th highest overall success rate passing at 53.1%. Aaron Jones has the 3rd most yards after contact with 180, 4th most rushing yards after contact per attempt at 3.6. Even when the Packers have the lead and the defense knows they call more running plays, it hasn't seemed to slow much at all. When you look at statistics that are stable from week to week, going in Atlanta's favor is starting position, 7th best in football. That is not sustainable. That will come back down to reality. I am going to scratch an itch and go with an alternate spread and say Green Bay minus 16.5. It's a blowout.
Wow. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is playing some of the best football of his career right now. Ed, thank you. Great stuff by all our guys. John Sheeran, want to get back to you here for your exclusive insight on the hottest bets at the sportsbook right now. Which teams are taking the most action for week 4?
Well, the Green Bay Packers are taking a lot of action, Lisa, but not at minus 16.5, like Ed alluded to. We couldn't get this game above 6. It's a touchdown, as everybody knows. And there's a ton of money coming for Green Bay. It's not surprising. They've been super impressive. Nothing to kind of negate that against New Orleans last week, where they were, incredibly good down there. I think Atlanta have been sneaky good, though. I think they've been a little bit unlucky. I take Ed's point about where they've got the ball, but they've got an offense that can live with Green Bay, and we really like our chances of winning those bets that we've taken. I think locally, the other one, Lisa, is the Eagles. I'm kind of surprised. Like the guy said, they're a touchdown underdog against San Francisco away. Somewhat surprisingly for me, though, there's been plenty of money around for Philly on the spread. Currently seeing about 70% of the spread money for the Eagles. And I guess that's related to the injuries that the Niners had, despite them coping pretty well with that in the MetLife Stadium last week against a pretty poor New York Giants, Lisa.
Right, no doubt. Thank you, Sharon. Great perspective. Time to turn it up now. You're going to need your FanDuel Sportsbook account to get in on the action. If you haven't signed up yet, now is the time. FanDuel's giving new users some extra love with a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Just download the app, sign up for an account using the promo code right there on your screen. More ways, 1,000. If your first bet doesn't hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel's going to refund you up to $1,000 in site credit. And guys, got to get you in here and hand out a bunch of fist bumps here for this segment. A couple big $1,000 risk-free bets that you guys gave out during this segment. They hit last week, made a lot of people a lot of money. Pony, you had the Panthers winning outright at the Chargers. 1,000 collected more than $3,400. It's your second straight week nailing this risk-free bet. I see you, Pony. I see you. Ed, you had the Panthers alternative line at plus 3.5. 1,000 collected $2,200. Dave, I'm giving you some love here because I know you're going to redeem yourself this week. Your bet last week didn't hit, but you have up to $1,000 to place on a risk-free bet here in week 4. So where are we putting all that money?
We are going to go to Chicago and Indy. I think this is two teams that are going to get both into the high 20s, maybe a race to 30 as far as who's going to win. So instead of just playing the regular total, 43.5, I'm going to buy it up, the alternate total, 52.5, and take the over and get plus 230 odds. So a $1,000 bet would win me $2,300.
I'm going to make it 3 in a row with another upset special. Miami on the money line to upset Seattle at home. Ryan Fitzpatrick licking his chops against the worst pass defense in the NFL.
Bills and Raiders want an alternate total for this one. I think it'll go back and forth. We'll see a lot of points. I want over 59.5, so a $1,000 risk-free bet scores me $3,000.
Yes, sign up for that new account, FanDuel Sportsbook, right now. Make sure to plug in that promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet. And before we go, we're going to take a second to talk about one of the biggest horse races of the year. It is the Preakness Stakes running on Saturday at Pimlico Racecourse. Of course, Dave is there this week. Dave, horses are your wheelhouse. What's your pick? And give us a little information about the special promotion available right now.
Yeah, if you go to tvg.com, you can sign up for an account using the promo code BESTBET. You're going to get a 50% match bonus on your deposit up to $250. I like the number 3 Art Collector in this year's Preakness Stakes to pull off the small upset over the favorite Authentic.
I love it. Download the TVG app, sign up for that account. Use that promo code Dave mentioned, Best Bet. You're going to get 50% deposit matchup on your first deposit. Hey, enjoy the horses this weekend. Enjoy the week 4 matchups in the NFL. Thanks for hanging with us here on More Ways to Win. We'll see you right back here next week, and good luck with your bets.
Ante up, Pennsylvania, because PokerStars is live. Join our PA Championship of Online Poker to win a share of $1.5 million cash. Plus, get $30 free when you sign up, or we'll match up to $600 of your first deposit. Download the PokerStars app now. Play online at PokerStars.com.
War of Will won the Preakness!
Satsas qui s'en va, Satsas qui s'envole, Satsas qui va triompher dans le prix du Jockey Club.
TVG account holders get free PPs. At TVG.com, under the Handicapping tab, select free past performances. International racing is displayed on the right. Select the track and the day for a full card. For U.S. tracks, access TVG Full PPs, Basic PPs, Watch and Wager PPs, the Stats Race Lens Day Pass, and TVG Super 8 PPs. Select Handicapping Store and play today to get reimbursed the very next day. Free PPs at TVG.com.
Ante up, Pennsylvania, because Poker Stars is live. Join our PA Championship of Online Poker to win a share of $1.5 million cash. Plus, get $30 free when you sign up, or we'll match up to $600 of your first deposit. Download the Poker Stars app now. Play online at PokerStars.com.
Welcome to week 4 of the NFL season. We're excited to have you with us today as we get right into all of these matchups. You're watching More Ways to Win. I'm your host, Lisa Kerney, getting you ready for all the NFL action this week. And as always, I'm joined by our team of sports betting experts. Look at those guys, including Dave Weaver, live from Pimlico Racecourse for the Preakness Stakes horse race this weekend. We are going to talk horses later in the show. These guys are here to help you all make money. So now is the time to download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to place your bets with their advice. Plug in the promo code you see on your screen, MoreWays1000, to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy. It is legal. It's fun. So let's get this party started. They're ready. I'm ready. You're And look what we have here kicking things off. Illinois and Indiana going head-to-head. Colts at the Bears on Sunday. I'm in, guys. Big news out of Chicago. Nick Foles is the new starting quarterback after replacing Mitchell Trubisky and leading the Bears to that comeback win over Atlanta, 20 unanswered in the fourth quarter. For the Colts, they've won 2 in a row, outscoring opponents 64-18. Momentum on both sides here, Pony. Andrew, the Bears are getting 2.5. Which way are you going on this matchup, Pony?
I think Chicago's very appealing with that number. I think the Colts are inflated. The record, they had 2 pick sixes against the Jets, 2 touchdowns on defense. I just can't. The Bears are, I think, an overrated 3-0, Dave. But it's hard for me to get a gauge on Indy because the Jets are so bad. So I'm going to take Chicago and assume that Foles and the defense give them a chance to win this game.
Well, the reason I like the Bears, and I do like Chicago in this spot, and I think it's the first time this year that I've picked the Bears, so everybody watching is probably like, wow, he's finally picking our team. But the Colts are just not the same on grass as they are when they're playing on turf. They're just a different team. They've lost 6 out of 7 on grass, and the only game that they won in that span was last year at Tennessee, and they didn't cover. They just barely squeaked it out by 2 points. So I think if this game was in Indy, the Colts would have a huge chance of blowing out the Bears. But because at Soldier Field is going to be a different kind of a game, I'm going with Chicago.
All right, and let's head there now to Chicago to check in with our NFL analyst, Cole Wright. Cole is, of course, the new face of Marquee Sports Network there in Chicago, formerly with NFL Network. Born and raised Bears fan. He is home. Cole, you've got a new veteran here, Super Bowl winning quarterback under center. You heard the guys pick. Which team do you have winning on Sunday, and by how many points?
You know, I haven't picked the Bears every single week because I think they're great. I picked them because I think their opposition isn't so good. And the Bears, they've won the last 3 versus Indy, and they lost the last meeting. So this is going to be a grudge match. Now, Indy, huge win in week 3, but like Dave said, it was against the Jets, so it doesn't really even count. Phillip Rivers, he did have his best numbers game all season long, but he's going to need to throw for more than 1 touchdown, which he's done in every single game. And I don't see that happening versus this Bears defense. The Colts, they scored 28 and 36 points in their respective wins, but the Bears D, they haven't allowed more than 26 points. So if you do the math, it should equal out a Bears win. 17-13. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be flashy, but it will be a victory. 4-0, bear down.
Hey, look at that matchup data. And that's what you get, Bears fans. Tail Cole here. If you bet on your team and the points based on all that research, a winning $50 bet on Chicago pays out more than $97. And Colts fans, you do you here. Think your team wins and covers that spread? We'll bet $50 on Indy to collect more than $93. Let's get to a huge AFC matchup in Kansas City now. The Patriots visiting the defending Super Bowl champions. The Chiefs are coming off that impressive win in Baltimore on Monday night to improve to 3-0. Not only covered, they won that game outright. Yes, New England sitting there now at 2-1. They are getting 7 in this matchup as they travel to Arrowhead. Dave, hey, New England leads the league in rushing yards here. That's a good thing for them, but can they keep that Kansas City offense off the field and cover this number?
I think they can. Kansas City's got one of the lowest ranked rush defenses, so this favors the Patriots being able to run the ball. And you might be looking at this line saying, Patriots, Bill Belichick +7. When's the last time that happened? I'll tell you, it was 4 years ago, week 1 of Deflategate, when Tom Brady had that 4-game suspension. And the Patriots were a 9-point underdog, and they won the game outright. Doesn't matter the situation. You give Belichick a touchdown, and he's going to most likely cover this game, Pony. 6-1 as a dog of 6 points or more the last 7 times in this instance.
Dave, you're so good at this. I mean, you segued into my take perfectly with the deflate. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why your exactas don't hit all the time, but that's another topic. Look, they're going to take the air out of the football, figuratively in this game, New England. They're going to run it. As Lisa pointed out, the rushing statistics for the Patriots are through the roof. And it's not just the running backs. You've got Cam Newton now, too, with an extra day to prepare for the Patriots. We saw the bells and whistles of the Chiefs' offense against Baltimore with the left tackle touchdown catch and the underhand throw to the fullback. It was like Kansas City had prepared all offseason to take down Baltimore. Short rest. I think New England goes there and maybe wins the game, but definitely covers.
All right, bettors, if you take the Patriots and the points here, you're going to collect $90 on a winning $50 bet. Tail pony there. And we have plenty more game previews ahead, of course. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we're talking primetime matchups, getting our guys' picks for the Sunday night and Monday night matchups here in week 4. So definitely stay tuned for that. And of course, got to get to the guy that sets all the lines at the FanDuel Sportsbook. Joining us right now, the odds maker himself, John Sheeran, of course. John has a lot of exclusive information into the betting market, seeing trends. Sheeran, we're 3 weeks into this season now, so we've got a lot more information on each of these teams here in week 4. Which game this week gave you the most trouble setting the lines?
I think there were a couple, Lisa. I think the Jaguars and Cincinnati, see how I said Jaguar? Cincinnati game was probably the first one. When we looked at this initially, seeing the Jags getting 3 was a spot that we were initially pretty wary of, to be honest. When you think about the Bengals' run defense, how bad they were last year, it's carried forward this year. The first 3 games, they've been terrible. I think that means that we might see less pressure on Gardner Minshew. I think that initially was what we thought might happen. You know, they'll run the ball first, Jacksonville, take more pressure off Minshew than we saw what happened against the Dolphins, and he can take his short throws and actually be pretty productive from that perspective. The other side of it is when you look at Joe Burrow, the defenses they've faced, particularly the pressure he's faced, what an amazing job he's really done as a rookie through the first 3 weeks. Jacksonville are almost historically bad this year at getting pressure on the quarterback, and giving him time is dangerous. We saw that with LSU, obviously in his route to the championship last year in college. So eventually when we settled on it, we felt like it was more accurate, but one that definitely caused us a lot of trouble. Seattle and Miami is the other one. We made it exactly 6. Expected it to potentially even open as high as 7 or 7.5. The travel is a bad spot. It could be a letdown spot for them coming off that over and back game against Dallas. And then there's some bad weather in the area as well. Their defense has been pretty average, maybe even nearly the worst in the league if you listen to Ed. And that gives Miami some opportunity to be able to cover here and get some offensive yards and some points on the board, Lisa. So under a touchdown, that's the other one that's kind of interesting given all the money that we'll probably see for Seattle.
Great insight, Sheeran. As always, thank you. We'll see you again a little later in the show. Let's put some math to our money now and get the analytics answer from our numbers guy, Ed Egros, joining us from Dallas. Ed, you combed the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You found a couple lines that you really like. So now is the time to expose them and make our viewers some money. Where do the numbers take us here in week 4, Ed?
Week 4, Ed. Yes. Lisa, let's do Washington and Baltimore. The total's 45.5, and I'm absolutely ecstatic about this one because Baltimore is in a buy low situation. Lamar Jackson is still an elite passer. His completion percentage over expected is 11.3, second highest in football, only behind Russell Wilson. His bad throw percentage is only 8%. That's the best mark among all qualifying quarterbacks. And He's still an effective rusher. No one has more rush attempts off RPOs than Jackson. Those 12 carries have been good. That's been good for 41 yards. He had nearly 3 times as many RPO runs as anyone in football last year. I expect that number to go up. I also think that Baltimore could win this in a blowout and cover that total by themselves. I'm going to take the over for the game.
Well, the last point, Ed, I mean, how many points can we expect out of Washington in this game? It's one of the best defensive coordinators in the NFL, Wink Martindale. He had his pride ripped out, giving up almost 30 points, 27 in the first half against Kansas City. I don't trust Washington to hold up their end of the bargain in this game, and that's why I'm fading you. I'm going to take the under.
Tony, another bet that I think has some good value here is Dallas giving 4.5 to the Cleveland Browns. After so much criticism for Baker Mayfield that I've dispensed, including a brutal Week 1 loss to Baltimore, Browns quarterback, I think he may have turned his entire career around. Mayfield is currently 4th among all quarterbacks this season, an EPA CPOE composite of .214. Last year, his bad throw percentage was 18.1%. He was not accurate, but now it's 12.7%. There is still work to do, but it is an improvement. As for Dak Prescott, though, it seems to be going in the other direction. Last year, his on-target throw percentage was 77.6%. This year, it's 47.1%, roughly 30 points worse, and a drop from 7th best in football there to 28th. He has been aggressive. Intended air yards for both seasons have been high. It's just not working out for him this year. So, yes, Baker Mayfield is on an uptick. Dak Prescott's on a downtick, but I don't think they meet just yet. I have the Cowboys covering.
Yeah, I really like Baker Mayfield, so I'm going to pick the Cowboys. Come on, Ed. Just pick the Browns. Do the right thing here. The Cowboys are 1-2, and the only game they won was a literal miracle on that onside kick against Atlanta that they got, and they should be 0-3. I'm taking the 4.5 points. You've got no friends today, and Pony or myself, we're both fading you.
Yeah, Ed, all that talk about Baker Mayfield and his hospitality there in the stadium on all the commercials, and then you don't even take them? Come on. Take the Browns and the points. You're going to collect more than $95 on a winning $50 bet. And remember, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Check out all the lines available here in Week 4. A lot of value to be had as we get up to kickoff. Illinois and Indiana, you're part of the fam now. We appreciate you. We love having you with us, and we take care of our friends. So we've got a segment here. It's kind of a we've got your back kind of thing, a special fist bump for those of you that are especially new to sports betting. We want to bring you along with us. We appreciate that you're here. Dave, we talked about spreads, money line bets, total wagers. Now let's break down those bets, inform our bettors, and give them your best bet here in Week 4 for each of those.
Let's start with the spread wager, and that is the amount of points that a team has to win by or lose by if you like the underdog. But I like the Saints this week, and they're a 4-point favorite. So if they win by 3, I'm not going to cash my ticket on a spread bet. They need to win by at least 4 points, and I think they will. I think they win this game easily. So a spread bet means you need to win by the amount of points that the spread is. Now, a money line bet, there is no spread. That just means you need to win the game. So on a money line bet, I'm going to use the Tampa Bay Bucks as my example. It's a little bit more expensive. It's minus 330, which means you have to risk $330 to win 100, but they don't have to cover the spread. So if they win by less than 7, you still are going to cash that money line bet. And now let's talk about the total, also known as an over-under. You're talking about the total combined amount of points between two teams. I like Chicago and Indy. I know Cole earlier said that this is going to be a low-scoring game. I don't think so. I think this is going to be a back-and-forth affair. So I actually like the over in this game. So as long as the two teams combine get over the 43.5, I win.
Awesome, Dave. You know what I do? I write all of them down, check, check, check. And there you go, Illinois and Indiana. Plenty of spread, money line, and total bets available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Also a ton of fun parlays. We've got props, alternative lines for those of you who've been at this a while. Come along with us. Check it all out on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. It's easy to use. Tons of fun to play with us. And we appreciate you. Time now to turn our attention to fantasy and talk about how you can turn $4 into just about $1 million. That's right, $1 million for just about $4 entry fee. All you have to do is enter the FanDuel Sunday Million Contest on FanDuel.com and on the app right now. Our job here is to help you win it. So we're hooking you up with best value plays for your lineup. FanDuel Editor-in-Chief JJ Zacharyson in-house with us with his best values here for Week 4. Hey, JJ, what you got?
One of my favorite values this week is wide receiver Will Fuller, who's going up against the Minnesota Vikings secondary. Now, if you look at this Texans offense, they haven't performed all that well over the last couple of weeks, but they've also faced Pittsburgh and they faced Baltimore. Will Fuller has about an 18% target share across the season, and that includes a 0-target game against Baltimore. Now he faces a Minnesota secondary that's been second worst in terms of adjusted fantasy points against. I like Will Fuller, especially at this price tag of $6,100. And then you move on to another player in that Texans offense, and it's David Johnson, who's $6,700. He's seen 85% of the running back rushes in that Houston offense to start the year. He's had a 12% target share as well. The only other running back across the entire NFL with those types of market share numbers has been Ezekiel Elliott. Now he gets a pretty good matchup in a game with a pretty high over-under. I like David Johnson to give you a floor, and I think if you can find the end zone maybe once, maybe even twice, he has a ceiling too. And then finally, there's DK Metcalf. The Seahawks offense is rolling right now. Metcalf has a 22% target share. He's fourth in 15-plus air yard targets this year. He's getting the ball down the field. He's scoring touchdowns. He should be priced higher than $6,900, so I think that he should be in your lineup as well.
Check. Done. Make sure to use JJ's information for a shot at winning $1 million in the Sunday Million contest right now on FanDuel.com. Thanks, JJ. It's about $4 to enter. There's a prize pool of almost $3 million. It's FanDuel.com and the FanDuel app. Back to sports betting now. One of the coolest and most exclusive features on the FanDuel Sportsbook app is building a parlay bet of wagers offered for one single game. It's called Same Game Parlay. You can dramatically increase your payout on your bet. That's how this thing works. The FanDuel Sportsbook is the only sportsbook, by the way, offering this great feature for these NFL games. So let's party, guys. Let's get right to it. This means bettors can combine multiple bets from one game. That includes everything from a spread bet, total, game, player props, however you want to get down, it's all you. And to get us started, FanDuel is giving all customers one risk-free same-game parlay bet up to $10 each week of this season. So let's get creative here. I want each of you guys to give me a same-game parlay bet that you like for this week. Dave, coming to you first. What you got?
I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Jaguars. I'm going to try to see how this game's going to unfold. I think it's going to be really close early on. So the first quarter is going to be tied. So I'm going to take the draw in the first quarter. That's one of the bets. Second bet is I'm going to take the Bengals to be under the 13.5 points in the first half. So 0-0 at the end of the first, 10-7 at halftime either way. But I think the Bengals pull away late. I'm going to lay the 3 in the game. And if those 3 things happen, 22-1 odds.
I'm going to take the Texans in my same-game parlay. This is like riding your bike downhill. You don't have to pedal if you're Houston because you've done all the hard work against Baltimore, Kansas City, and Pittsburgh. Now you get a winless team at home. Texans are going to go over in the first half, their point total, and then they're going to cover the 4.5 point spread with ease. A nice, juicy, easy to win same-game parlay.
It's the game the world will stop rotating on its axis for. Jacksonville at Cincinnati. If you look at early down pass frequency, Cincinnati passes at 8th most frequently and Jacksonville is 14th. Cincinnati also plays at the second fastest pace in football, which means that both teams will have opportunities to score, including the Jaguars. And so I'm expecting points for them. Away total points second half, over 10.5. Away total points being over 23.5. And a money line money-making bet for the Jags. You put it all together, get your whisk, make a nice little cake out of it, plus 263.
You know I love Moneyline Moneymakers. You know I love to bake. Ed, thank you for that. Awesome stuff, guys. You can tail one of our guys or, hey, just build your own same-game parlay in the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Take advantage of a risk-free $10 bet as well. Just click on the game that you like, then hit the same-game parlay tab and watch your odds increase. How it works. It's so easy against the FanDuel Sportsbook, the only sportsbook to allow this feature for NFL games. Time to talk prime time here in week 4, so let's get right to it. We're starting with the Sunday night matchup. Philly at San Francisco. The Eagles still looking for that first win after a tie at home against the Bengals last week. Doug Peterson is backing Carson Wentz. We've heard it all week saying he is our quarterback, not even going there. But he does have to fix this thing. 6 interceptions in 3 games, guys. It's the most in the league. Meanwhile, you look at the Niners. They've won 2 in a row, but it has been against the Jets and the Giants. So San Francisco here giving 7 points on Sunday night. Pony, give me your pick in this matchup.
Well, I think this is an overreaction, this line, to the outcomes of the first 3 games. If you told our pal John Sheeran at the beginning of the year that Carson Wentz was going to be facing Nick Mullins, that was the quarterback matchup in Week 4, I bet a month ago he would have favored Philadelphia by a touchdown in this game. So I think there's a ton of value here, Dave. I don't see Wentz being interception happy again in this game like he has been in the first 3. His back's against the wall. Take Philly.
There are some winless teams in the NFL that are absolutely hopeless, and they have nothing to really play for this early in the season. The great thing about being in the NFC East, if the Eagles win this game, they could be in first place with 1 win if the Cowboys lose to the Browns, which I think could happen because the Giants and Washington both stink. So, Philly still has a lot to play for, despite being 0-2-1 at this point. I think they cover.
All right, Cole, got to get you back in here for this. You heard the guys' picks. Which team do you have winning on Sunday night, and by how many points?
Well, I'll tell you what, it couldn't have got much worse for Philly last week, so chances are they probably felt pretty good about wrangling in that tie right there. Now, Carson Wentz and that Philly offense, they haven't looked great all season long. They're bottom 3rd in the league in total offense, yards per play, and sacks, and dead last in turnovers. And Eagle fans, you don't deserve this right now in San Francisco. Well, maybe they'll continue to ride that Nick Mullins train because he was efficient, nearly 350 yards passing, a touchdown, no picks. He's representing for Southern Miss. So you splash in Jeff Wilson and Jerick McKinnon in that run game. This looks to be an easy dub, 27-13. I'm going Niners all day here, Lisa.
All right, and the big line, too. Now to Monday night. Check out the line here. Atlanta at Green Bay. Guys, Falcons coming off another late-game collapse in that loss to Chicago. Gave up 20 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. They've fallen to 0-3. Meanwhile, you've got Green Bay proving doubters wrong after improving to 3-0 with their win in New Orleans. Dave, you've been on the Falcons all season long. Heck, way back in the offseason. They're getting 7 from the Packers in this matchup. Does Green Bay cover that number, or do you still have faith in your Falcons?
I have faith in the Falcons because they're going to score 30 or 40 points every single game this year. Ridley's already off to a monster start. Matt Ryan has plenty of options to throw it to, and he's got 2 good running backs now that he has an opportunity to get the ball to. So I think Atlanta scores the points. Their defense has been not good, obviously. Their fourth quarter defense especially has been terrible. But they are very good on the road. They've covered 5 consecutive road games. And last year they beat the Saints and the Niners on the road. Could they pull off the shocking upset here against the Packers? I don't think it's that impossible.
Dave, at some point I expect you to join us from Arthur Blank's house for this show because you've been all over the Falcons. That'll be your next road trip for us. But I agree with you in this sense. Atlanta just has to keep it close, and they've done that all year. Let's not forget they were up 16 points with 6 minutes left against Chicago. They blow games, but they're always in games, and that's why I'm going to take the Falcons.
I will say, guys, Arthur Blank is incredibly hospitable, so if you want to get down there, I'm sure he would be happy to welcome you, Dave. Ed, the guys decided whether to tail or fade you earlier in the show. You get to return the favor here. Which side do you like in this primetime matchup on Monday night?
One person Arthur Blank is not inviting for Christmas dinner is me, because I'm going with Green Bay and I'm going with the Packers, energetically. They are dangerous because of their ability to run the football. Second highest success rate rushing in non-garbage time at 53.6%, all while owning the 4th highest overall success rate passing at 53.1%. Aaron Jones, 3rd most yards after contact with 180, 4th most rushing yards after contact per attempt at 3.6. Even when a defense knows that Green Bay is going to be rushing, still can't stop them. Atlanta, yes, they've had some great offensive performances, but they've also had some stinkers in the second half. Yes, they've had good field position throughout the season, but that is not sustainable with the Packers. I think Green Bay is going to win this one handily. I'm going to do an alternate spread and say Green Bay minus 16.5.
You might have the odds maker with a little something to say on that. Great stuff by all you guys. Sharon, I'm coming back to you for your exclusive insight here on the hottest bets at the sportsbook right now. You heard Ed's bet there. Which teams are taking the most action for Week 4? Let him have it.
We'll start with that game, Lisa, in Green Bay on Monday night. 16.5, Ed. I don't know what he's been having this morning, but all of the money is for Green Bay, to be fair. We've seen about a ratio of 10-1 on the spread, Lisa, for the Packers, but that doesn't surprise me. They're 3-0. They compounded everybody's feeling that they're now the greatest thing since sliced bread. in beating the New Orleans Saints last weekend. But Atlanta, for me, like the two smarter guys, Weaver and Pony, touched on, Lisa. Atlanta are unlucky to be in the record that they have. They should be 2-1. That loss that would have come should have only been the game against Seattle, and we know how potent that offense has been. So for me, this is a spot where we think Atlanta's offense can hang with Green Bay. We think it's inflated because of all of that money. We could only make this line as high as 6. A couple of weeks ago on our look-ahead line, it was only 4.5. So at 7, we'll definitely be aggressive towards the Green Bay Packers and think we can get Atlanta out of a jam for us on that one, Lisa. I think locally, the Colts in Chicago is a really interesting market for us. Initially, we had Indy as a 1-point favorite in the spot, but that's been really well supported. It's now up to around a field goal. I would have actually expected the majority of money to come for the hometown Bears, but it hasn't really materialized to this point. About 65% of the money so far has been for the Colts. The Bears have fought back, though, strongly, Lisa, in 2 of the first 3 weeks. And getting a field goal, to me, should be too much for the local bettors not to get involved. And I do see more money coming for Chicago between now and kickoff. So if you do like the Bears, I would suggest taking +3 now.
Great perspective, great insight here, and thank you. Time now to turn it up here on More Ways to Win, and you're going to need your FanDuel Sportsbook account to get in the action. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Now is the time. FanDuel is giving new users some extra love with a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Yep, just download the app, sign up for an account using the promo code right there on your screen, More Ways 1000. If your first bet doesn't hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 inside credit, and then we're going to give you a gigantic fist bump like I got to give my guys. Get in here, guys. A couple of big $1,000 risk-free bets that you all gave out during this segment last week. They hit and made a lot of people a lot of money, including you, Pony. You had the Panthers winning outright at the Chargers. $1,000 collected you more than $3,400. Your second straight week, nailing this risk-free bet. Looking forward to what you got here in week 4. Ed, you have the Panthers alternative line at +3.5. $1,000 collected, $2,200. Gonna get to yours as well, Dave. Now you just got to redeem yourself here in week 4. You have up to $1,000 to place on a risk-free bet. I'm confident that you got this one. What you hammering here in week 4?
I'm confident as well that this is going to be a high-scoring game between the Bears and the Colts. Both offenses right now are really grooving and scoring lots of points. So I think that's going to continue in here. But instead of just taking the normal total, which is 43.5, I'm going to get greedy. I'm going to buy it up. The alternate total, 52.5, now gets me +230 odds. So $1,000 risk-free bet gets me back to $2,300 profit.
Yeah, I'm going to go for 3 in a row and get greedy with Miami on the money line against Seattle. Ryan Fitzpatrick will have an encore. He'll take what he did Thursday night, 3 touchdowns, and do it again against that awful Seattle pass defense.
Bills and Raiders alternate total over 59.5. $1,000 risk-free bet scores me $3,000.
Awesome. Gamblers, make sure to sign up for that FanDuel Sportsbook account right now. More Ways 1000 gets your risk-free bet up to $1,000. And of course, before we go, I told you we're going to talk horses. Let's take a second to talk about one of the biggest horse races of the year, the Preakness Stakes, running on Saturday at Pimlico Racecourse. Dave, you're live there. Horses are your jam. Give us your pick for this weekend and tell us about that special promotion available right now.
Yeah, no fans this year at the Preakness, but you can wager at tvg.com, and you can use the promo code BESTBET and get a match bonus up to 50% to a max bonus of $250. So I would suggest betting the number 3 horse, Art Collector, to pull off a small upset in this year's Preakness.
Number 3 horse, I wrote it down. Thank you, Dave. Sign up for that TVG account, download the app, use the promo code BESTBET. Enjoy the horses on Saturday. Enjoy the NFL this weekend. We'll see you back next week.
Time for new reading glasses? Go to readers.com. Choose from hundreds of styles and colors for under $20. And now enter this exclusive TV coupon code at checkout to save up to 40%. That's readers.com.
Hey, neighbor, we got to talk.
Jay? No, he only comes to Bugle on race days.
Race days?
With the TVG app, every day is race day. You can place bets right in your phone. Even stream live races.
Top-notch runners facing off.
I can have a day at the track whenever I want, right at home.
Coming through, guys.
Go get him, Mike.
Mike Smith?
Yeah, Mike Smith.
There's a new home of horse racing, yours. Get a 50% bonus on your first deposit up to $250.
Saturday on TVG. Keeneland's back-to-back stakes action includes the Grade 1 First Lady, a win in your in challenge race for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turn. Brought to you by Irish Thoroughbred Marketing. Saturday, Keeneland, 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific.
Week 4 of the NFL season is here. Thanks for hanging with us, Broncos fans. We appreciate you. Let's get right into these matchups. You're watching More Ways to Win. I'm your host, Lisa Kerney, and as always, I'm joined by our team of sports betting experts, including Dave Weaver, live from Pimlico Racecourse for the Preakness Stakes horse race this weekend. We will be talking horses later in the show. These guys are, as always, here to help you make some money. So now is the time to download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to place your bets with their advice. Plug in the promo code MOREWAYS1000 to get your risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's easy, it's legal, it's so much fun. I'm ready, you're ready. Let's get this party started. These guys are ready. Week 4, guys, Denver fans, your Broncos played Thursday night, so we're getting right to another huge AFC matchup to kick things off. The Patriots are on the road in Kansas City. Chiefs coming off that impressive win in Baltimore on Monday night. They're now 3-0. New England 2-1 coming into this matchup. They're getting 7 points at Arrowhead. Dave Weaver, New England leads the league in rushing yards. Can they keep this Kansas City offense off the field and go ahead and just cover that number? What do you think?
I think they can do that, and I also think that the Kansas City rush defense isn't that great, 153 yards so far through the 3 games, so they're going to be able to run the ball. But here's, as a bettor, you're giving one of the greatest coaches, probably the greatest coach of all time, Bill Belichick, a touchdown. So you have a great coach with points. The last 7 times that Belichick has been favored by, or underdog by even 6 points or more, 6-1 against the spread. The last time was the week 1 of Deflategate 2016. Patriots were a 9-point underdog. They won the game outright, Pony. I think that they can win this game. Not only cover the 7, but I think they could maybe pull off an upset.
So do I. I mean, you're such a horse racing aficionado. Look where you are, Dave. I'll put it in terms you can understand. Going from Baltimore to New England in a short week is like, you know, the turnaround horses have to do from the Kentucky Derby to the Preakness. It's so hard in normal years to do that. And I think now it's another thoroughbred for Kansas City. It's Bill Belichick, who's 6-2 all time against Andy Reid. And now he's got, you know, a great horse in his stable in Cam Newton, who I think has gone there and has silenced so many critics, so many doubters. They're going to run the ball and keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. That's going to shorten the game, and that's going to make it easier for the Patriots to cover a big spread of 7 points.
It is a large number. Thanks, guys. We'll get right back to you. But right now, I want to get an X's and O's take on this matchup. For that, we head to Chicago and our NFL analyst, Cole Wright, the new face of Marquee Sports Network there in Chicago, of course, formerly of the NFL Network. Cole, you heard the guys' picks here. Which team do you have winning and by how many points?
I'm sorry, Dave and Pony. I'm not on the same page with you guys. You know, it's always tough to go against New England, but I'm going to have to do it, especially when you think about how Cam Newton's been playing. He's re-energized, but it's not going to get it done. Rex Burkhead, he's also been running like a man possessed. But, you know, I'd have to punch myself in the teeth if I didn't go with the Chiefs here, because the Patriots, well, since it's not October, that's somewhat good news because Patrick Mahomes, he's never thrown an interception in September, and I'd be crazy to think that this Kansas City team doesn't have the number 1 offense in the league, but they have the 5th best offense, and that's nuts. But one thing I do see is Kansas City going out there and getting this win, 31-21. This is going to be easy money for Patrick Mahomes and company. Sorry, New England and Cam Newton in that barbed wire hat, but yeah, you're going to lose this one.
That's right. It's a new era, Cole. That's right. Great pick here. Broncos fans, if you want to root against my Chiefs and bet on the Patriots to cover, you got to do your thing. I get it. You're going to collect $90 on a winning $50 bet. Let's stay in the AFC West now. Get to the Chargers on the road at Tampa Bay. LA 1-2. All of their games have been decided by 5 points or less. Tom Brady and the Bucs are giving 7 points in this matchup, guys. Pony, which side do you like in this one?
Well, that's going to change this Sunday. Rob Gronkowski finally found his rhythm with Tom Brady last week. 7 targets were the most among Brady's receivers, so their chemistry is back. And the other thing, very underrated about Tampa Bay right now, Dave, is that defense. It is currently 4th in the league in total defense, and I don't see that changing against Justin Herbert making his first career road start.
Well, you look up and down in the NFL, and injuries have basically plagued every single team, except when I looked at Pro Football Doc last week in the injury index, Tampa Bay was the only team that had an A rating for pass offense, pass defense, rush offense, rush defense, all 4 categories. They're healthy. This is the healthiest team in the NFL, and I think the Bucs get the job done.
All right, great stuff, guys. Broncos fans want to root against the Chargers, make some money at the same time. Bet the Bucs giving the points. If you win a $50 bet, you're going to collect more than $95. It's the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You can get it right now, and we've got plenty more game previews. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we're getting to prime time, giving you picks for the Sunday night and Monday night matchups that is ahead, so stay tuned for that. And, of course, the guy that sets all the lines at the FanDuel Sportsbook is joining the show right now because we want to get your perspective, Sheeran. The odds maker himself, John Sheeran, has a lot of exclusive information into the betting market here. John, the deal is we've seen these teams for 3 weeks now. We've got a lot more information on these teams that are for these matchups. So I want to know, when looking at the lines in week 4, which ones were the most hard to set for you this week?
I think there were a couple that were pretty tricky, Lisa. A couple that seemed to be really good opportunities for us to be aggressive with the numbers on face value and even on our ratings. But when we looked deeper at some of the matchups, kind of told a different story. The first one was definitely Jacksonville and Cincinnati. Looking at that one, seeing the Jags getting 3, probably was a spot that we were really wary of initially, particularly in a world when you think about the Bengals' run defense, how bad it's been now for a year and a half. We felt that initially could mean that the Jags would lean on the run, give Gardner Minshew more freedom to kind of do some much more shorter passes rather than what we saw against the Dolphins last Thursday night. The other side of it, however, is that Joe Burrow's done an incredibly good job through the first 3 weeks, facing a lot of pressure from 3 really good defenses, and now he comes up against a Jacksonville defense that is probably historically bad in terms of the lack of pressure they're getting on the quarterback. I think if they give him room, you could see a Joe Burrow that we saw for LSU last year with long throws, really accurate throws way down the field. So that was one that eventually we kind of sided with where we sat at 3 and felt like that was the right place. I think Seattle and Miami was the other one, Lisa. We made it 6, but expected it to open up actually even over a touchdown or even more. We're seeing a huge bias towards Seattle in that match. And, if that line gets any bigger, it's one we'll be aggressive with Miami. The travel spot is not great for Seattle. We've got a letdown spot potentially with that over and back game against Dallas last week as well. Their defense has been pretty poor, and we think Miami can get offensive yards and get some points on the board to keep that within a touchdown. So they're the 2 that we're kind of most keen looking towards this weekend on.
And I tell you what, Sheeran, Seattle could not make a farther trip across the continental U.S., so great point there. Let's put some math to our money now, get the analytics answer from our numbers guy, Ed Egros, joining us from Dallas, as always. Ed, you combed the FanDuel Sportsbook app. You found a couple lines that you really like here, so let's expose them, make our viewers some money. Where do the numbers take us here in week 4, Ed?
Lisa, I am absolutely ecstatic that the total between the Ravens and Washington is at 45.5 because after Monday night, Baltimore has a buy low status for me. Lamar Jackson is still an elite passer. His completion percentage over expected is 11.3. That's second highest in football, only behind Russell Wilson. His bad throw percentage is only 8%. That's the best mark among all qualifying quarterbacks. And Lamar Jackson is still an effective rusher. No one has more rush attempts off RPOs than Jackson. And those 12 carries have been good for 41 yards. He had nearly 3 times as many RPO runs as anyone in football last year. I expect that number to go up. There are 2 possible outcomes here, and one of them is that Baltimore hits the total by themselves. So I'm going to take the over 45.5.
That's why I'm fading you, Ed. I think you're going to need Baltimore to get there by themselves. When we saw Washington face a team that had a very mobile quarterback in Arizona, in week 2. They only scored 15 points, and I think they're going to be hard-pressed to match that in this game without more points from Washington. I think this game goes under, so I will be fading you.
Pony, another bet that I think has some real good value is Dallas giving 4.5 to the Browns. And after so much criticism for Baker Mayfield after that brutal Week 1 loss to Baltimore, I think Mayfield has turned his entire career around. He is 4th among all quarterbacks this season, an EPA CPOE composite of .214. Last year, his bad throw percentage was 18.1%. Now it's 12.7%. There is still some work to do for him, but it is an uptick. Dak Prescott, though, he's going in the other direction. Last year, his on-target throw percentage was 77.6%. Now it's 47.1%, roughly 30 points worse. His drop has gone from 7th down to 28th. Dak's intended air yards have been some of the bigger totals in all of football last year and this year. He is still being aggressive. He's just being inaccurate. So, yes, Baker Mayfield's on an uptick. Dak Prescott's on a downtick. But I don't think they meet just yet. I'm going to give Dallas one more opportunity here and cover the 4.5.
I mean, was the graphic wrong? Why does it say Dallas? You just said every reason why the Browns are going to win this game, not just cover, but win this game. And then you pick the Cowboys. I'm fading you. The Cowboys are 1-2, and the one win they have, it was a gift, that onside kick against the Falcons. So bad pick, Ed. Bad pick.
Well, Dave has been on the Browns. It's like retro 2 years ago now. Dave, rolling with the Browns. You can roll with the Browns as well. Take the points. You're going to collect more than $95 on a winning $50 bet. And remember, download the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Check out all the Week 4 lines available. You can do it right now. Bet along with our guys as we continue through this show. In Colorado, you're a part of the fam now. We take care of our friends here at FanDuel. So this is a we've got your back kind of segment, a special fist bump for those of you that are new to sports betting. We welcome you. We are excited to have you with us. And Dave, let's inform our bettors a little bit. We've been talking about the spread, moneyline bets, total wagers as well. Now let's break down those bets, inform our bettors, our viewers here, give them a little information and your best bet for each here in week 4. What you got?
Well, let's start with the spread. That is the amount of points that a team needs to win by or lose by in a game. I'm going to go to New Orleans and the Saints as they go to Detroit, but I think they're going to crush. So the spread is 4, but I think they're going to win by at least 5 points or more. If it happened to be 4, it would be a push. Both sides would get their money back if you bet either. Let's talk about now the money line. The money line, there is no spread. You just need to win the game. It doesn't matter if you win by 1. It doesn't matter if you win by 50. It's all the same. So the Tampa Bay Bucks are my money line bet this week. I don't think there's any way that they're losing to the Chargers. But as long as they win by 1, I'm okay. It's expensive, though, when you have a heavy favorite. When you see the minus 330 there, that means you have to risk $330 to win 100. I'm willing to do that. Now the total. That's the total points scored between both teams in a game. Let's talk Chicago and Indy. I think there's going to be a high-scoring game. The total is 43.5. So that means whether it's 44-0 or 24-20, as long as these two teams get 44 or higher, I win.
Love it. There you go. Check, check, check. Thanks, Dave. In Colorado, plenty of spread, money line, and total bets available on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Also, a ton of fun parlays, props, alternative lines for you. And for those of you that have been at this a little while, we appreciate you as well, and I love having you with us. Check it all out on the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. It's easy to use, and it is a ton of fun. Time now to turn our attention to fantasy for all of you DFS players out there. Let's talk about how you can turn just about $4 into $1 million. Yes, I said $1 million. All you have to do is enter the FanDuel Sunday Million contest on FanDuel.com, of course, on the app as well. Our job is just to help you win it, right? So let's get into it. We're hooking you up with the best value plays for your lineup. FanDuel Editor-in-Chief JJ Zacharyson in-house with his best value plays for Week 4. Hey, JJ.
One of my favorite values this week is wide receiver Will Fuller, who's going up against the Minnesota Vikings secondary. Now, if you look at this Texans offense, they haven't performed all that well over the last couple of weeks, but they've also faced Pittsburgh and they faced Baltimore. Will Fuller has about an 18% target share across the season, and that includes a 0-target game against Baltimore. Now he faces a Minnesota secondary that's been second worst in terms of adjusted fantasy points against. I like Will Fuller, especially at this price tag of $6,100. And then you move on to another player in that Texans offense, and it's David Johnson, who's $6,700. He's seen 85% of the running back rushes in that Houston offense to start the year. He's had a 12% target share as well. The only other running back across the entire NFL with those types of market share numbers has been Ezekiel Elliott. Now he gets a pretty good matchup in a game with a pretty high over-under. I like David Johnson to give you a floor, and I think if he can find the end zone maybe once, maybe even twice, he has a ceiling too. And then finally, there's DK Metcalf. The Seahawks offense is rolling right now. Metcalf has a 22% target share. He's fourth in 15-plus air yard targets this year. He's getting the ball down the field. He's scoring touchdowns. He should be priced higher than $6,900, so I think that he should be in your lineup as well.
Yes, and he's going to continue to redeem himself after that fumble and that touchdown there in week 3. Thanks, JJ. Make sure to use JJ's information for a shot at winning $1 million in the Sunday Million contest. It's available right now on FanDuel.com. Again, about $4 gets you an entry into a prize pool of more than almost $3 million in payouts. The winner taking home $1 million. It's FanDuel.com and the FanDuel app. Back to sports betting now. One of the coolest and most exclusive features on the FanDuel Sportsbook app is building a parlay bet of wagers offered for one single game. It's called the Same Game Parlay. You can dramatically increase your payout on your bet. It's how this thing works. The FanDuel Sportsbook is the only sportsbook offering this great feature for these NFL games. So let's party. Let's get into it, guys. This means bettors can combine multiple bets from one single game. That includes everything from a spread bet, total game, player props as well. And to get you started, FanDuel is giving all customers one risk-free same-game parlay bet up to $10 each week of the season. So get creative here. I want you guys to give me a same-game parlay bet that you like for this week. Dave, go nuts. What you got?
I'm going nuts on this one because I'm going to go with the Cincinnati-Jacksonville game, and I'm trying to figure out how this game is going to go early on. I think it's going to be a real slow back-and-forth game in the first half. So first quarter especially, I need this game to be tied. So I'm betting the draw in the first quarter. I think it's going to be 0-0 or 3-3. They're going to trade one score. For the half, I need Cincy to score less than 13.5 points, and then for the game, I need the Bengals to cover, which I think they will, the -3. If those three things happen, 22-1 odds on my money.
Yeah, I think you need a same-game parlay to make that one interesting, Dave. I'm going to take Houston. They scored 21 points in the first half against that vaunted Steelers defense. So here's the parlay. The Texans to go over their point total in the first half, plus the Texans to win the game, a desperate team, -4.5. Put those two together, you've got a winning same-game parlay.
I want to go back to the most exciting game of the weekend in Jaguars at Bengals. But if you look at early down pass frequency, Cincinnati passes at 8th most often of anyone in football. Jacksonville is 14th. Bengals also play at the second fastest pace in football, which means both teams will have many opportunities to score, and I think Jacksonville will do just that. So my parlay, away total points second half over 10.5, away total points over 23.5, and a money line moneymaker for the Jags. Whole thing is plus 263.
Yes, and you know how much I love my moneyline moneymakers. Great stuff, Ed. Great stuff by our guys. You can tail one of our guys, or hey, just build your own same-game parlay in the FanDuel Sportsbook app right now. Take advantage, too, of that risk-free $10 bet as well. Just click on the game that you like, then hit the same-game parlay tab. Watch your odds increase. That's how it works. It's that easy. Again, the FanDuel Sportsbook, the only sportsbook offering this great feature for these NFL games. All right, time to talk primetime here in Week 4. Place more bets. We're starting with the Sunday night matchup. We've got Philly traveling to San Francisco. The Eagles still looking for that first win of the season after that tie at home against the Bengals last week. Hey, Doug Peterson was asked about his quarterback situation. He said, listen, Carson Wentz is our quarterback. He's not going there. But yeah, he has to get this thing fixed. 6 interceptions in 3 games, guys. It's the most in the league. Meanwhile, you've got the Niners, who've won 2 in a row, but those were against the Jets and the Giants. But you take what's in front of you, right? San Francisco now giving 7 points on Sunday night. Pony, give me your pick for this matchup.
Well, I'm going to take Philly, Lisa, because I think that blowout win for San Francisco glossed over a major problem for them. They can't run the ball. San Francisco averaged only 2.7 yards per carry on 35 touches against the lowly Giants, Dave. They missed Tevin Coleman. They missed, Raheem Mostert. They are a one-dimensional offense right now, and I don't think that works with Nick Mullins against Philly. Give me the 7 points in the Eagles.
Yeah, you see the success that they've had against the 49ers, 7-1 against the spread the last 8 games. And what was the situation in week number 1 at home when the Niners were favored by, I think it was the exact same numbers, 6.5 or 7 against the Cardinals, and they lost outright. So, yeah, you beat the Jets and the Giants. That does nothing for me. I still think 7 is way too many. I'm with you. I'm taking the points.
Okay, Cole, got to get you back in here for this. You heard the guys' pick. Which team do you have winning on Sunday night, and by how many points?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not the Philadelphia Eagles, because I see Jalen Hurts before it's all said and done, potentially being the starting quarterback no matter what Doug Peterson said, because this Philly offense, they haven't looked great. Bottom third in the league in total offense, yards per play, and sacks. Dead last in turnovers. Eagle fans, you deserve a whole bunch better than this. Now, San Francisco, they maybe continue to ride that Nick Mullins train because he was efficient, 350 yards passing, a touchdown, no picks. He's out there representing for Southern Miss, and you splash in Jeff Wilson and Jerick McKinnon with that run game. And I see this as an easy San Francisco 49ers win. It's 27-13. You can take that one to the bank.
Awesome. I'm taking it to the bank, and I'm also taking this one to the bank. Got to get you guys' takes on Monday night, Atlanta at Green Bay. Guys, the Falcons coming off another late game collapse in that loss to Chicago. Unbelievably, gave up 20 unanswered points in the fourth quarter. They fall to 0-3. Meanwhile, you've got Green Bay on the other side that is just proving doubters wrong and proving to 3-0 with that win over New Orleans. Dave, you've been on the Falcons all year. They're getting 7 from the Packers. Does Green Bay cover that number? Unbiased opinion, what you got?
First of all, banks are closed on Sundays, Cole, so you're not going to be able to cash that check. I'm taking the Falcons. You know, this is a team that has covered 5 games in a row on the road, including last year. They beat the Niners and they beat the Saints as double-digit underdogs. So 7 points is nothing. They've had a history of playing well in Lambeau, covering 8 out of 9 there. And I think they surprised the Packers here. Let's say they get a big lead and blow it again. Who cares, Pony, as long as they lose by less than 7?
Yeah, Dave, there's no way you're ever going to pick against the Falcons. I don't care what the spread is. You're pot committed to this team. But I'm with you in this respect. They kept up. You know, they've actually set the pace in their last 2 games, and they've just blown it. But they impressed me in this way last week. They did it without Julio Jones. And so they had issues at wide receiver. They still put up points. They'll get some of those guys back healthy for this game. And I think they'll hang around and cover and make sure that they're within 7 points at the end.
All right, Ed, got to get you back in here. The guys decided whether to tail or fade you earlier in the show. Now it's your turn to return the favor. Which side do you like here in this primetime matchup on Monday night?
Dave Weaver's got those pocket deuces for the Falcons, and there's an ace-king on the board in terms of Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones. Green Bay is absolutely dangerous when it comes to the ground game. Second highest success rate rushing non-garbage time at 53.6%, only behind the Patriots. Fourth highest overall success rate passing at 53.1%, and Aaron Jones is great by himself. Third most yards after contact with 180, fourth most rushing yards after contact per attempt at 3.6. So even when the Packers say, I'm going to run the football, nobody can stop them. Atlanta's numbers that are in their favor, well, they're unpredictable. They're unreliable, like starting field position. It's 7th best, but that's not reliable and sustainable against the Packers. So not only do I think Green Bay covers, I'm doing an alternate spread. Green Bay minus 16.5.
Yes, that's a lot of confidence right there in one bucket. Thank you. We'll see what the oddsmaker has to say about that, Ed. Sharon, I'm coming back to you for your exclusive insight here on the hottest bets at the sportsbook right now. I want to get your take on what Ed just said about going 16.5 on that one, but also I want to know which teams are taking the most action here in week 4.
Yeah, I think Atlanta Green Bay Monday Night Football is definitely one. Lisa, our look-ahead line was 4.5. Even allowing for an excellent Sunday Night Football performance by the Packers, we still can't get this above 6. So kind of surprised that it's as high as a touchdown. Most of the money, about a ratio actually of about 90%, 10-1, has been for Green Bay on the spread. That doesn't surprise me. Like I said, the performance against New Orleans last week, this perception that they're now the greatest thing since sliced bread and the best team potentially outside of the Chiefs in football, kind of lends people to just buying in this spot. A high-powered offense. We do think that Atlanta's offense can hang with them, though. I think that's the key for us to get a backdoor cover and win those bets. I think the very interesting matchup for us is New England and Kansas. The Chiefs are favored by a full touchdown, Lisa, and bettors are not shy about laying the 7 points on Mahomes, particularly after the air show last Monday night. 75% of the money so far, as I said, on Kansas. But we do want to be aggressive in this spot. For all the points the guys made earlier about Belichick getting an extra day's rest to prepare, the way that they're likely to slow the game down and try and run the football as much as they potentially can means that for us it's a dangerous spot for Kansas City bettors.
Yeah, well, my producer, Vishal, knows me so well. I have to come back at you, Sharon, because Kansas City fans are going to say, hey, tell that guy it's Kansas City, not Kansas.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry for making that
I thought we went over this, Sharon.
Huge mistake. We did go over this before. It's a bit like the Jaguars, right?
Oh, you're such a good sport. Thanks, Sharon. We'll get to the Jaguars, I'm sure, later in the show as well. Time to turn it up, though, right now. You're going to need your FanDuel Sportsbook account to get in the action. If you haven't signed up yet, guys, what are you waiting for? Now is the time, Colorado. FanDuel is giving new users some extra love here with a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Yes, just download the app. Sign up for an account using the promo code MOREWAYS1000. If your first bet doesn't hit, it's all good. We've got your back. FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 inside credit. You can lay that on Kansas City. You can lay it on the Jaguars. You can lay it on what the guys tell you to do, because I'm here to give you some fist bumps. Guys, a couple of big $1,000 risk-free bets that you all gave out during this segment. They hit last week, made a lot of people a lot of money. Pony, I see you. You had the Panthers winning outright at the Chargers, $1,000. Collected more than $3,400 on that bet. It's your second straight week nailing this risk-free bet. Can't wait to see what you got here in week 4. Ed, you had the Panthers alternative line at plus $3,500. $1,000 collected $2,200. Awesome stuff by you. Dave, time for you to redeem yourself this week. I know you were close, but now you get another chance, up to $1,000 to place on a risk-free bet here in week 4. What you hammering? I've got confidence in you, my man.
I'm going to take a game that I like in a total. That is the Bears and the Colts to go over. But instead of taking the regular line, which is 43.5, and getting the minus 110, I'm going to buy it up. So I need now these two teams to score at least 53 points. But now I'm getting plus 230 odds. So a $1,000 risk-free bet would collect 3,300.
Dave, I'm proud but also surprised you didn't take the Falcons on the money line. I'm going to go with a money line pick. I hit it last week. I'm going to go with Miami over Seattle at home is my risk-free wager. Ryan Fitzpatrick against the worst pass defense in the NFL. Seattle the worst by far by a whopping 80 yards. Miami is going to stun them on Sunday.
If you aren't doing so already, take the Bills and the Raiders seriously. This game should be close and back and forth games, produce more points. Josh Allen may have the best trio of receivers in football, and Derek Carr has been quite the effective passer. So I want an alternate total for this game, over 59.5. My $1,000 risk-free bet scores me $3,000.
There you go. Great stuff, guys. You can place those bets right now. Sign up for a new FanDuel Sportsbook account. Use that promo code MOREWAYS1000. Get that $1,000 risk-free bet. And before we go, let's take a second to talk about one of the biggest horse races of the year. I told you we'd get to the ponies. The Preakness Stakes runs on Saturday at Pimlico Racecourse. Got to get Dave back in here. Dave, horses are your wheelhouse. Give us your pick and let our viewers know about the risk-free, the special promotion that is available with this race as well.
Yeah, just sign up for a TVG account at TVG.com, or you can download the TVG betting app and use the promo code BESTBET and get a 50% match bonus up to $250. With that money, I would suggest betting Art Collector in this year's Preakness Stakes. He was supposed to have run in the Kentucky Derby, which was eventually won by Authentic, who's also in this race, but he was scratched. He didn't enter because he had a very minor injury, but he's been training phenomenally, and I think he comes to this race great. I like Art Collector.
Ice cold. I appreciate you. Download the TVG app. Use that promo code BESTBET. And, of course, more ways 1,000 with all your NFL wagers. Enjoy the games, and we'll see you next week.
Why pay over $100 a month for cable when it's half the cost for Fubo TV? Get all the channels you want with all the entertainment you love for the price that cable can't beat. Try free at FuboTV.com.
Discovery Roger, go for deploy.
Hey, neighbor, we gotta talk.
Well, Jay? No, he only comes to Bugle on race days.
Race days?
With the TVG app, every day is race day. You can place bets right in your phone, even stream live races.
Top-notch runners facing off.
I can have a day at the track whenever I want, right at home.
Coming through, guys.
Go get him, Mike.
Mike Smith?
Yeah, Mike Smith.
There's a new home of horse racing, yours. Get a 50% bonus on your first deposit up to $250.
It's one all, one shot, now the future is yours.